Do not test your AI agent on production. Sandbox it first. Production is where agents should prove reliability, not discover basic mistakes. A lot of teams build an AI agent and immediately ask a dangerous question. Can we connect it to the real workflow? Real tickets, real customers, real alerts, real records, tools, real consequences. That jump is too big because the first version of an agent will be wrong in ways you did not predict. It will misunderstand context. It will miss edge cases. It will overtrust bad data. It will call tools in weird orders. It will produce outputs that look confident but are incomplete. And if you discover all of that in production, the blast radius is real. So in this video, I want to show you how to sandbox AI agents before production using fake data, replay tests, shadow mode, dry runs, limited pilots, and measurable rollout gates. An AI agent sandbox is a controlled environment where the agent can run without causing real damage. The agent can receive inputs. It can reason over context. It can draft outputs. It can call safe tools. It can generate decisions. But it cannot directly affect real users or production systems. That is the point. A sandbox gives you a place to observe behavior before granting authority. You are not just testing whether the agent works once, you are testing how it behaves across many examples. Normal cases, messy cases, missing data, conflicting data, policy edge cases, tool failures, approval rejects. A good sandbox exposes weaknesses while the cost is still low. The first sandbox layer is fake data and fixtures. This is where you start before the agent touches anything sensitive. Create sample tickets, sample alerts, sample scanner findings, sample customer requests, sample policies, sample assets, sample tool responses. The goal is to test the workflow shape. Can the agent read the input? Can it identify the right fields? Can it produce the right output format? Can it follow the policy? Can it handle missing fields? Can it avoid making things up? Fake data is not enough for final validation, but is perfect for early iteration. It lets you break the workflow safely. And early on, breaking the workflow is exactly what you want. The second sandbox layer is replay mode. Replay mode uses historical cases. The agent receives an old ticket alert vulnerability finding or workflow input. Then you compare the agent's recommendation to what actually happened. This is useful because historical cases already contain real messiness, bad descriptions, missing owners, duplicate records, unclear severity, policy exceptions, human edits, escalation, closures. The agent is not changing anything. It is replaying the decision. Then you measure whether it would have helped or created risk. Would it have recommended the same priority? Would it have missed important evidence? Would it have escalated correctly? Would it have asked for approval? Replay mode turns your past workflow into a test set. The third sandbox layer is shadow mode. Shadow mode means the agent runs beside the real workflow but does not affect it. Humans continue doing the actual work. The agent quietly produces recommendations in parallel. Then you compare the agent's output to the real human outcome. This is one of the best ways to validate an agent before production, because the inputs are real, the timing is real, the operational context is real, but the agent has no authority. It can be measured without creating damage. You can track agreement rate, override rate, false positives, false negatives, missing evidence, review time saved, and policy violations. Shadow mode answers the question, if this agent had been active, what would it have done? The fourth sandbox layer is dry run execution. This is where the agent prepares the action, but does not execute it. It shows the tool call it would make, the ticket update it would write, the message it would send, the field it would change, the label it would apply, the command it would run. Dry runs are important because an agent's final answer is not enough. You need to see the action, the old value, the new value, the target object, the permission rule, the approval requirement, the expected impact. A dry run lets humans and policies inspect the planned action before anything changes. If the dry run is wrong, you stop there. No production damage, no cleanup, just feedback. The fifth sandbox layer is a limited pilot. This is the first step toward real production, but it is still constrained. One team, one workflow, one type of ticket, one customer segment, one asset group, risk action, limited time window. limited tool permissions. Approval required for high risk actions. A pilot should have clear stop conditions. If override rate is too high, stop. If tool errors spike, stop. If policy violations happen, stop. If humans stop trusting the output, stop. If latency gets too high, stop. The goal is not to prove the agent is perfect. The goal is to prove the workflow is safe enough to expand. Before production access expands, measure behavior. Accuracy is not enough. You need operational metrics. How often did humans accept the recommendation? How often did they edit it? How often did they reject it? How often was evidence missing? How often did the agent ask for approval correctly? How often did it try to use a block tool? How often did it fail safely? How much time did it save? How many cases required rollback? How many policy exceptions appeared? You are looking for trust signals, low override rate, clear evidence, correct approval routing, safe tool behavior, reliable output format, predictable failures. Sandbox is not just a playground. It is a measurement system. Here is a cybersecurity example. Imagine a vulnerability triage agent. In fake data mode, you give it synthetic findings, assets, owners, and exposure states. In replay mode, you feed it old vulnerability tickets and compare its recommendation to the historical outcome. In shadow mode, it watches current findings and recommends priority without changing the ticket. In dry run mode, it prepares the ticket update, severity recommendation, evidence checklist, and ownership notes, but does not write anything. In a limited pilot, it may add internal notes for low risk findings, while severity changes and closures still require approval. That is a safe progression. The agent earns trust one layer at a time. It does not jump straight into changing security priorities on day one. Here is the checklist. Start with fake data. Build fixtures for normal cases. Build fixtures for edge cases. Use historical replay tests. Compare recommendations to known outcomes. Run shadow mode against live inputs. Track agreement and override rates. Use dry runs before real writes. Show diffs before actions. Limit pilot scope. Limit tool permissions. Define stop conditions. Require approval for high-risk actions. Log every run. Review failures before expanding access. Only move toward production when the evidence supports it. That is how you sandbox an AI agent. Production should not be the first real test. It should be the reward for passing earlier tests. Fake data, replay mode, shadow mode, dry runs, limited pilots, then production. That progression gives you a way to learn without creating unnecessary risk, because the goal is not just to build agents that work in a demo. The goal is to build agents that survive contact with real workflows. And the safest way to get there is simple. Sandbox, expand slowly, measure everything,